everyone, welcome back to our channel. I'm Danielle, your resident romantic.
And I'm Lindsay, the fantasy fan, and we are friends
Till the bookends. Today we are doing a video where we talk about all of the books or series that we think would make a great book-to-screen adaptation, whether they're movies, TV shows, who knows. If you are listening and you have any kind of hand in the production pool, make sure you take notes so we can see all of these turn on the big screen.
Basically doing your job for you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So to jump right in, this one is Hush Hush by Becca Fitzpatrick. It is a 4-book series. This one, so we actually had to stop filming for a second because Lindsay thought this was made into a book,
movie.
And I had my heart stop because I read this when I was like 14 or something, 13. This is like I've talked about it before. But I have thought many times since then until now this was turned into a movie. So Lindsay made my heart stop when she goes, "Isn't that a movie?" It is not a movie yet. It has been in pre-production sometimes. It has been talks about being turned into a movie, but it is never officially...
It has a cast and everything.
Yes, I support the cast, by the way. I looked at the cast. So, brief synopsis for this. You have Nora. She is a high schooler. In walks this mysterious guy named Patch. And ever since he pops into her life, she somehow keeps being put in danger. And she can't tell if he is the reason for it or if he's supposed to protect her from it. So she also tries to figure out what secret he's hiding. And as you can tell by the cover, there is some supernatural essence going on here.
We have no idea what he might be.
Yeah, who knows?
I'm guessing werewolf.
Team Jacob. I'm not going to talk too much about the synopsis because, like I said, it's a series and I don't want to spoil it. But this has been my all-time favorite series ever. I would love for it to actually finally be a movie.
Maybe this will be like kick in the butt that whoever's producing this needs.
It has such a huge fan base. I don't know why it's not a movie yet. Make it a movie. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Okay, so the first book that I think should be made into a TV series is Shatter Me by Tahereh Mafi, because this trilogy ran my life in high school. I have read this probably like 6 or 7 times, and anytime I need like a pick-me-up, this is one I go for. So essentially, if you haven't heard of this, we're following a girl named Juliet who has the power to kill when she touches people. So she is put in essentially a prison for like 365 days, and then one day they introduce another prisoner into her cell, a boy named Adam, and things kind of go from there. But it's a dystopian novel, and the first book is wildly different than the second book, which is wildly different than the third book. Tahereh Mafi does such a good job of developing and evolving her characters, which is why I think it would make such a fantastic series. And it's so gripping, and you like get to know all of the fun characters in it. Like Kenji is a favorite. He's fantastic. He's so funny and witty. And I think, you know, I know the dystopian kind of like movie TV thing has passed a bit, but I was surprised that this was never made into a show or a movie because I would watch the hell out of it. So Netflix, where you at?
Right? Next is Black City by Elizabeth Richards. This is a trilogy. Short and sweet synopsis. You have Ash and Natalie. Natalie is a human. Ash is part human, part darkling. These are 2 species that have rivaled in the past, and so there's actually a wall that separates them.
Okay.
They're not supposed to mix, yet they do the unthinkable and they fall in love. And they get in their head that if they can bridge the gap between each other, the entire society should be able to. So it's slightly dystopian in some of the further books, but it's also about rise up, love, paranormal, supernatural. I think this would make a great either movie series or a TV series. I think maybe better as a TV series. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. The author is very descriptive in it, and I think that if it were put on the big screen, it would have a lot of details to it that I think a lot of people would love.
So the next book that I think would make a fantastic, probably TV series, is From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I can't get enough of this. So essentially we're following this girl named Poppy, who is the maiden. I'm gonna scoot through this because you've heard me chat about this. And it is her job to help all the people in her society ascend. She's not sure what that means. It's being kept a secret from her as well as the reader, so it's kind of a mysterious aspect throughout. And then we're also following her new guard, Hawk, who comes into the picture, and you know, he might be hiding some secrets too. And essentially it's just like such a fantastic, interesting twist on like fantasy romance with some paranormal aspects, because things just keep getting delivered throughout the book that are like bomb drops, and you're just like, she can't go more wild than this. And JLA is like, hold my beer. Like,
watch me.
Yeah, she's like, hold my earrings. Like, we're going for it. So, you know, she just creates such a cool and unique world that I don't think has been done before, really. So I think this would be such a fun TV show to watch, and it would definitely be one that, like, people are, like, hardcore fans of the main characters, which, like, when you have such a cult, like, fan following, I feel like that is good for a TV show. So I think that's why it would be so cool and so fun. I'm sure it'd be very hard to do all the cool special effects and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'd be really interested to see if somewhere down the line this is picked up for rights, because I would.
It's funny, I actually don't have any Jennifer L. Armentrout books on my list here to recommend for a TV or movie, but honestly, they all should be.
They all are.
She's just such a legend.
They're like really
writing.
good, like soap opera-y kind of shows.
They're so good. Next one for me is Under the Never Sky by Veronica Rossi. This is also a trilogy. Oops.
Warmer notes.
This one is a little bit of a detailed world, so I'm going to try and keep it simple, but basically you have two characters, Arya and Perry. Arya lives in this dome called Reverie, and it's very futuristic. It is, I'm actually not sure if it's kind of floating in space or if it's actually down on Earth itself, but it is essentially a protective dome, because you have everything inside the dome and everything outside, which they call the wastelands. It is not good to go out there, you're not safe, is what they keep telling you. And everything's going great for Arya, except her mother, who is one of the scientists who helps develop things, suddenly disappears. And even though she knows it's a risk to look into this, she does. This ends up in Arya getting kicked out of the dome, and she is now left alone, abandoned in the wasteland. There she comes across Perry. Perry is, they call them savages, because he lives in the wasteland. And so they form this unlikely alliance because she wants to figure out what happened to her mother, and Perry's also looking for someone who may have gotten taken by the people inside the dome. So these people come from two different worlds, and they come together to try and answer each other's questions. Also, it's kind of like Black City in that they try and bridge the gap between the two species. I think
it's good.
Yeah, it's really good. I think it would make a great TV show, because even though it's a trilogy, I think there's a lot that could be expanded upon it. So, I don't know. Fingers crossed everyone else likes this as much as I do, and we can make a storm to make people make this into a TV show.
So the next book that I think should be, okay, so I don't know if it should be a TV series or a movie yet, because I don't know how many books are going to be in the series, but that is Legendborn by Tracy Deonn, which is a book that I read most recently in my reading blog, and it was my most recent 5-star read, and oh, girl, this book is fantastic. So it is a King Arthur retelling, which I'm not a huge fan of King Arthur retellings. I don't know why. I just have never liked one, really, but this one is so cool. So essentially we're following this girl named Bree, and her mother dies, and she decides that she's going to go to this like early college like prep program on UNC Chapel Hill's campus. So she's going to live there on campus as like a high schooler and take classes there. I don't know if these programs exist in the real world, but in this world it does. And when she gets there, she witnesses this like magical attack, and she's like, hold the phone, girl. She's like, demons are real and stuff. So she forces this guy to essentially help her infiltrate this like secret society that is in charge of like killing the demons and stuff. But you know, this book is so intricate in its world, and it's so unique because it's contemporary. It's like urban fantasy, so you've got an interesting fantasy world, you've got cool King Arthur retellings with a unique magic system. You're also, you know, Tracy Deonn touches on issues of race and class and gender and things like that in such a smart way, to where it's so flawlessly interwoven. And I feel like this would be such a great series, or I don't know, it kind of reminds me of like Cursed, which is on Netflix, because that's also a King Arthur retelling, but this one's like way better. Like Legendborn has got to have something. So this book just came out in the past like 6 months, so we haven't had a second book, and it's too soon to tell if there will be a TV or movie adaptation, but damn, there needs to be.
The other great series that would be a good TV show is the Arcana Chronicles by Cressley Cole.
I second this one.
This is the first book in a series, Poison Princess. If you saw one of our recent past videos, I struggled to try and find a good synopsis for this. Surprise, I'm going to struggle again today. Super brief, an apocalyptic event happens. Evie is the only one who survives, or so she thinks. She finds Jack, who went to high school with her, they were never really friends.
Rivals.
Right, they were rivals, and they make an unlikely pair in order to survive. Evie starts to experience these kind of supernatural feelings. She has some hallucinations or visions. She starts to gain powers, and she needs to figure out what's going on. So Jack is there to help make sure that they both survive, while Evie comes across these other characters along the way that may or may not be able to help answer things for her. In the grand scheme of things, you find out that Evie has one of the powers of the tarot cards. She is the Empress, and there are, 11 other cards out there? Is that how many tarot cards there are?
Can't answer that.
Okay, so there's approximately 11 others out there, and she has to figure out what all that means. The more she learns, the more she realizes that every once in a while an apocalyptic event happens, and these 12 tarot cards and their powers resurface. What ultimately happens is it has to be a battle to the death. Every tarot card has a strength and a weakness, and you have to use everything against each other in order to come out on top. If you lose, you die, and you'll eventually be reborn. If you win, you get to live for another 100 or so years until the next apocalyptic event happens, and then the war starts all over again. Brief. I'm sorry, that's the best I can do. There's just so much intricacy in this world that I think it would make an incredible TV show. I would love to see, there's a triangle, there is a love triangle in here, so I would love to see the love triangle put on screen. I would be excited for that. You also love this series.
I do.
Could you picture it as a TV show?
Yeah, it's so unique too, like tarot cards, and like astrology is like really big right now, so I feel like this is its time.
Absolutely.
This is its moment to shine.
This is its, what is it, Mercury rising?
Mercury's in retrograde?
Yeah.
Okay, so the next book series that I think would actually be a really good movie series, a trilogy, is the Truly Devious series by Maureen Johnson. And this is a book that I had actually picked up about a year and a half ago. I had started reading and I had DNF'd. And then this past January, I had picked it back up and actually read through the entire first trilogy. There's a second trilogy coming out, but it's like independent of the first. So essentially we're following this girl named Stevie, and she gets invited to join the exclusive Ellingham Academy, which is this like exclusive school up in Vermont that was built in the 1930s by this like mega rich dude. And she's really into true crime. And so
Oh, this is you.
I want to be Stevie.
You're in a book.
It's me. And so she's really interested in going to this academy because there was a very famous kidnapping murder that happened at the Ellingham Academy when it was being built. So she thinks she's going to go and solve it. And this would be such a fun, like, Nancy Drew-esque movie series.
You would binge this movie like
I really
that
would.
if they made it.
And it's really cool because you have flashbacks between the 1936 murders and also present day, so you're kind of getting both timelines, and it was just done really, really well. And I think this would be a really cool like movie series because the 3 books are all connected, but they all kind of have like the overarching theme of like who's the bad guy, but they're all following slightly different events in each one. So they're unique enough to where it's like you wouldn't feel like you're watching the same movie over and over again, but like you want to know who the big bad wolf is at the very end. So it was just really fun to read, and you know, casting would be really fun for this as well because they're all the characters are really quirky, and they all have like very specific wants and needs and interests. So it would be a fun time.
Yeah. Alright, last one on my list is My Life with the Walter Boyce by Ali Novak. First of all, shout out because this was an author from the app Wattpad before it became what it is now. So I think this was, as far as I know, one of the first authors from Wattpad to create her own book. So or publish her own book. I am super excited for this. I love supporting authors on Wattpad or from Wattpad. Basically, you have Jackie. Jackie's parents die in a freak car accident, and she's sent to live with her family's friends. Her family's friends have 12 sons. No girls.
It's 12 boys?
12 boys.
Jesus, it's like...
So 12 sons. Not a single girl. Originally, she's surrounded by the enemy. She used to live by herself. Now she's surrounded by boys who leave the toilet seat up. And they shout at video games. Yeah. And they're loud and dirty and they leave their socks everywhere. And at first she's in enemy territory. But then she starts to fall for a couple of them. Yes. A couple of them.
Fair.
Yes.
She's got 12 to pick from, and probably a couple are going to tick some boxes.
Absolutely. So it kind of turns into this teenage romance where, who am I supposed to pick? I'm wrecking their lives if I start dating one of them and then decide to go for another. I don't feel like I'm describing this well, but if you've seen the movie Kissing Booth on Netflix, it's kind of that same vibe where it's young love. How do you know who you're going to end up with? How do you know who knows your heart? How do you choose the person that you fall in love with? So it's kind of the same vibe for that. I haven't read it in a while, but I do remember just having my heart flutter the whole time and, you know, tensing up during the drastic scenes and not knowing who she's going to end up with. So I think this would be a fun teen romance movie. I think it would be very cutesy. It would be very adorable. I would also love to see a 12-son family on a TV show.
But the last book that I want to chat about is our most recent book club pick, and that is Today, Tonight, and Tomorrow by Rachel and Solomon. And this is a book that is following two high school rivals named Rowan and Neil, and they have this like hate relationship. Like they just want to outdo one another. And this book takes place over a course of 24 hours, the last day of high school. So Rowan and Neil are competing for valedictorian, and one of them gets valedictorian, one of them doesn't. And it kind of starts this whole chain of events because there's also like a senior assassin game being played. And Rowan overhears a group of people teaming up together to take her and Neil out because they're tired of them winning everything.
Yes.
So Rowan decides that she's going to have to team up with her arch nemesis to stay alive. And when they get to the end, it's basically just going to be like an all-out war between the two of them. One last competition.
Cutthroat.
It is. And this would be such a cute Netflix movie. Like, I'm feeling like To All the Boys I've Loved Before vibes.
Yes, I definitely see that.
Come on, it would be so cute.
I would love this as a movie.
It would be so much fun because it's set over 24 hours, so it wouldn't need to be like a movie series. It could just be a single movie here. And it was just so cute and fun, and it's set in Seattle, which is really neat, and there's all these different clues that the characters have to go find, so that'd be like a fun montage. And
it's kind of got a little bit of adventure to it, which is super fun.
Yeah, so I think this would be such a fun movie, and I will write the screenplay.
Alright, so those are some of the books that we think would be great on screen. If you agree with our picks, let us know in the comments, or if there are other things that you think would be a great TV series or movie, let us know. Netflix production team, our email is in the link down below. Please hit us up. That is it for today. Thank you for checking in, and we'll see you next time.
Bye!